Glug, who is the orc played by Robert Strange, I want to say his name is.
Okay.
He was the guy that came out on San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, he's been all over the marketing.
Yeah. And we see,
promotions, yeah.
Exactly. I think actually Amazon's profile picture on Instagram and Twitter or X and all that is Robert Strange as Glug at the moment. So we see him talking to Adar, where he says that he just wants peace and not war, as he goes to his orc wife and his orc child. So Jonathan, what are your thoughts?
They're not good, dude.
They're dark thoughts.
They're dark thoughts.
Meant for Mordor.
I don't care for this storyline of orcs having like loving.
I know.
I mean, maybe they're like, oh, we're going to explore new territories, but like, I'm sorry, orcs are just through and through evil. They're not good. There's no redeeming qualities. I know that they're trying to make them a bit more, we're brothers and sisters and blah blah in this season, and Adar is their father or whatever, and maybe they're just misunderstood. But I'm sorry, like, I mean, just from everything we've known about orcs all our lives, it's just like they're just pure evil.
Yeah. Okay, but first I want to read out a quote from the Silmarillion. So this says, "For the orcs had life and multiplied after the manner of the children of Iluvatar, and deep in their dark hearts the orcs loathed the master whom they served in fear, the maker only of their misery." So it's not like complete. It's not out of the question. We've talked about the. We've talked about orc lore
But first of all, if people think, oh, but they just spawn out of the ground like in Peter Jackson's films, that's not correct.
No.
And as what you just read there, we've spoken about that before on podcasts where we're like, okay, they actually
the more philosophical.
They reproduce.
Idea. Yeah.
And we actually spoke about how Peter Jackson's idea may have come from an actual earlier writing from Tolkien, where it was like this combination of like mud and sticks and earth and whatever. And so that was like one of Tolkien's original ideas, but he went back on that, and then he kind of said that they took after the ways of, did you say the children of Iluvatar, or what did you say there, the elves, or?
The children of Iluvatar.
The children of
multiplied
Iluvatar,
after the manner of the children
AKA
of Iluvatar.
the elves. So we know that they do reproduce in the same way, but I don't think that means that they have a loving home and they have like a husband who's worried about his child at home. I think it's
I think some things
they're more animalistic. I think they're
breeding.
Yeah, I think that they breed, and it's like the parents barely care for the children. It's just like survival of the fittest.
I'll tell you what I think, because I just think this is not something that I wanted to think or discuss or talk about. I think it's just something that you're like, how does it happen? You could just say in one line in one book that Tolkien wrote that, yes, they do reproduce, but we don't see them that way. Like, sometimes we don't have to see every single detail of the orcs' life, and like, we're not putting a GoPro on them and seeing them as a young baby and how they grew up. So we don't need to see this, and I don't see how this is going to develop into the plot to make us still hate orcs. I feel like it's actually worrying me about this new character Glug, who seems to be taking over from Waldrig. It's making me feel like we're actually going to have empathy for this orc.
Yeah,
and I think that
I think you're probably right because even in season 1, there were certain parts with the orcs where it was just like they're just looking for a home, and it's like,
I get that. I liked that.
I know I did like
but
that.
That's as far as I want the orcs to go. I want them to be displaced people, and they want the. Yeah, I don't know. They're still horrible.
Yeah,
they're awful.
But you have to see them as just through and through evil. They are like the representation of evil, and so that's why when you see our heroes just like killing like millions of them without a care in the world, we shouldn't feel those poor orcs.
No,
because I don't want to be like, oh, and he has a child back home, and like, and
then he was cradling his horrible wife orc. Like, she gurgles as he comes close. She's like, I'm like, am I supposed to like feel empathy for that?
She was beautiful, dude.
Beautiful on the inside.
With her black blood.
Yeah, so I think
I don't want to discuss this anymore, because I don't think it's worth the screen time, but I know that this was a very, very short scene in this episode I know that's probably going to be the most controversial, most like just blow up everywhere. There's going to be 100 million YouTube videos that are like, oh my god, it's such a disgrace because they did this. I kind of agree with it to an extent, but at the same time, I'm just like, don't think about it too much and don't focus on it too much.
Those aren't the ones that worry me too much. It's some of the accounts that are going like, oh my god, this is amazing. Finally, we're seeing representation for the orcs. I don't know, like it's just like we don't need that. We just they're supposed to be evil cannon fodder, and that's all that they should be, in my opinion. And so, guys, let us know what you think because again, we haven't really seen too much of the reactions. I'm just assuming that's what the reactions will be. So let us know. Did you like this plotline? Did you like this change of orcs being caring mothers and fathers to caring orc babies?